What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge. It's Friday. It's also Groundhog Day, so happy Groundhog Day to everybody out there, including, of course, Ned Ryerson. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing show for you today. We've got college basketball, we've got NBA, we've got PGA, we've got UFC. We've really got it all. So you're in the right place. Let's take a quick look at what we did yesterday on this very same show. 3-3, Proppy coming through again. I hit my golf bet. That streak is just pretty unbelievable at this point. But I'll tell you what, 3-3, not really good enough. We're going to improve upon that today. I think the day before we were also 3-3. Let's try to get maybe 4-2, 5-1, 6-0, something like that. We're going to do that today. And we can only do that today with the right amount of energy, with the right amount of superstars. That includes you in the chat, but it also includes the cast from Big Pick Energy. Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
Here we go. Silly Goose. Let's go, Buckets. Let's go, Chip, Mike McClure, Danny Brasco. It's fight night, or at least it's almost fight night. But I gotta be honest. We want to get into some Super Bowl props before we get into official picks. But you know what I need? Does everybody know what I need in the chat? I need my Chip Me Up. Chip Patterson, how are you today, sir?
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Snake. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Here with that battery in your back, getting you ready for Friday, getting you ready for a big weekend. Because listen now, all right? Because you ain't got, I don't know how y'all feel about the Pro Bowl. I kind of put it to the side. Why? Because we got top 10 matchups all over the board for Saturday in college hoops. We got some winners for college hoops tonight. Boy, I'm feeling that March is coming, boys. I'm ready.
I am so ready. Listen, why spend $3 on a double espresso or $2 on a coffee when you can just come to this show on a Friday and get that Chip Me Up? Let's just go around the horn real quick. Danny, how you doing today, buddy? You ready for some UFC, some fight night stuff?
Yes, I am. Not a crazy, noteworthy fight card necessarily, but always some low-key matchups to look out for that present betting value more so than the big pay-per-views. So lock in for this fight night, guys.
Buckets, my friend, how you doing, sir?
Sia, I'm doing well. I want to remind everyone that at 3 p.m. this afternoon, me, Martin the Guru Green, and Jimmy Conrad will be doing a Champions League preview here on SportsLine, so do not miss out.
That is amazing. Mike McClure, how you doing today, sir? Are you excited 9 days out from the Super Bowl for your Kansas City Chiefs to win yet another one?
Very excited for another Super Bowl for Kansas City. Yes. Fired up for golf, big pick energy, and some college basketball.
Absolutely love it. All right. Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, speaking of the Super Bowl being 9 days away, let's look at some fun stuff before we get into our official picks. How about some novelty props, some exotics, if you will? By the way, in the chat, if you haven't already hit the like button, please do. That Chip Me Up should have brought you right to the like button. I absolutely loved it. Everybody's so active in the chat. Mark, I see you. Liddy, I see you. Taylor DeHart, preaching all the golf picks. Brandon Silva, Japan. We've got everybody in here. Scott, Big Cheesy, David Talk, everybody, please hit the like button. Sorry if I missed your name. Let's talk about Gatorade color. This is fun, right? I'll tell you what, when it comes to this, Chip, I'm going to start with you. For the record, you can bet on this, just so everybody knows. Purple's my favorite color. Like whether it's like grape or Riptide Rush, like that's probably what I go with. Also, 33 is my lucky number when I go to the roulette wheel. Black 33, that's usually where I put my chips because I'm a sucker when I play roulette. Purple's my guy. Chip, what do you like in this one?
Oh, I think this brings us to the great debate. We don't have enough time for this, but is it yellow or is it green? What kind of Gatorade is it? And it's clear the odds makers don't want to even wade into those waters as they give you yellow/lime green. I have seen fisticuffs over the yellow-green Gatorade debate, but that's where my passion is. That's where I'd be going 4-1 on. And yeah, I'll say it, green Gatorade.
Green Gatorade. Riptide Rush is so good, says Bradley Jacobs. And Dustin Wild says 33 is also my favorite number. Absolutely love that. All right, Danny Brasco, you got UFC to talk about. You probably didn't know I was going to blitz you with some Gatorade color for the Super Bowl. What you got in this one?
But I was prepared, Sia, because low-key, this is one of my favorite bets. I love the novelty props. I love the anthem. I love the coin toss. I'm all about the halftime show props, and Gatorade falls right under that category. I went and tried to actually legitimately handicap this. There's line movement on orange. Like orange has moved down to plus 500. So that's something in the market. But something in me is telling me that maybe it'll be clear here. I kind of want to go water clear just because Andy Reid has won it before. Maybe he's saying, guys, it's getting sticky out there. Okay, we've experienced this. Give me clear. Let me go home without all stickiness over my clothes. I like the clear one, plus 1,000.
10-1 buckets. Let's fly through this. What do you got in the Gatorade color market?
I don't know if I want to fight Chip more or if I want to fight Danny more, because Danny, that was a terrible explanation. I disagree with that. And Chip, it is not green, it is yellow. But again, I'm not trying to do fisticuffs with anyone. Give me blue just to be different here.
Mike McClure, you're the Chiefs fan. You keep nailing all the Chiefs picks, specifically in the playoffs. Does that mean you like the plus 260 here with red Gatorade?
I think Danny has nailed it on the plus 1,000 on water and clear. Here's why. Here's why. Let's hear it out, buckets. Don't tell me this one's terrible, because I think this is sound advice. Every team has multiple coolers on the sideline. Every team has at least one of them that is water. Not every player drinks Gatorade. There are teams that drink water. Perhaps the water cooler gets grabbed this time instead of the Gatorade. Could also just be the clear. I'll take water Gatorade because I know I've got multiple buckets there on the sidelines, plus 1,000.
That's a really smart play. I'm sorry I didn't think of it first.
There's your number edge right there from Mike. He's still got an edge on the amount of water per cooler. Fantastic, Mike. Fantastic.
We heard that, and then we heard line movement from you. This is unbelievable. Snug the Cat, he's rooting for a showdown for the Gatorade flavor, which is kind of hilarious. All right, speaking of hilarious, we got a couple more to go through super quick. The first Usher song, I don't know how many of us in the chat or on this show are Usher fans. I mean, I think everybody kind of likes, like, Yeah, for example, at plus 225. But we're talking Usher's first song. I can't imagine he kicks it off with Yeah, right? That's somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the build-up. Chip Patterson, I don't know. Maybe you don't know any Usher songs. I don't know. What do you like in this market?
Oh, no, I know many Usher songs. I think that Yeah is actually a proper favorite here. But I think back to, we saw in Los Angeles, the Dr. Dre led coalition. You start almost with something to throwback. And like when you had that young Usher Raymond coming out with My Way, like, he kind of is classic rock, right? You think about how long My Way's been around. And I think that could be something where you just hit the nostalgia drip a little early. So give me My Way over Yeah if I was doing a coin flip there. I think that they are both appropriate favorites at the top of the board.
I don't know. Is that a Frank Sinatra cover? I'm not sure. Danny Brasco, what do you like? No. If I had to pick one here, I'd go to the plus 500. DJ Got Us Falling in Love. But Danny, where are you at on this one?
Now I need to hear an Usher Frank Sinatra cover. I'll go Fly Me to the Moon by Usher. No, I was thinking just along the lines of Chip that maybe a You Remind Me or a classic Usher banger would start it off, the nostalgia, but it's not on this list. So I've got a beef with the producers. I guess I'll go with My Boo. I'm going longest odds. This is something that should probably be later in the show, but Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift vibes. My Boo.
Yeah.
That sounded pretty good, actually. Buckets, Usher is a hip-hop artist. These are songs that he sings. Which song do you like here?
Dude, I don't know any of these songs. Not a single one. I've heard the name Usher, but none of these songs mean anything to me. So I'm going to sit this one out, taking the back seat here.
I love it. I love the discipline. Mike McClure, Usher fan? I don't know.
No, I mean, maybe used to be a little bit of an Usher fan, potentially an Usher fan again if he can nail this performance. I'll go at the top with the chalk with 225.
Top with the chalk. By the way, Big Cheesy says more like Boo Travis Kelce. Nice professional transition from a guy who's in our chat every single day. Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift? I want a simple yes or no here because I got to get to my official picks. We got to get to golf in particular. I'm just waiting to give that out. And I know there's people in the chat like Larry Bremner who are waiting for that to come out as well. Chip Patterson, yes or no, Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift, and it must be on the field of play.
Yeah, it's more likely that they go to a Vegas chapel after a win and be able to go get it done there. That sets a better scene for the eventual breakup album, as she, likes to have a little bit of color around everything that happened in the relationships. So, pulling away in a Cadillac from a Vegas chapel, I think that that's more in line with something that he and Taylor would do than something on the field at the Super Bowl.
2 steps ahead from Chip Patterson. Danny Brasco, where are you at on this one?
No chance. What Chip said.
All right, buckets.
I'm going to say no because this only happens if they win, and I don't think they win.
Okay. Oh, that's wow. Those are fighting words, Mike McClure. What do you think? Yes or no?
Yeah, it's an easy no. This market actually opened in Canada minus 250 on the no, and I was trying to figure out ways to get flights in with suitcases and all. Yeah.
Dude,
So
legit.
no.
Well, I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to be the contrarian here because anything for attention, Travis Kelce will undertake. So give me the yes at plus 1,060, was it? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's finally get to our official picks. We've got golf starting in about just less than 2 hours where these matchups are going to start. The round 2 is going to start. Mike McClure, you have a pick. I'm going to get my 2 picks out of the way here. We hit it again yesterday. We have been on quite a run in 2024. So I've got 2 picks for you today. 2. I'm going to go with Adam Svensson over Nick Hardy. Adam Svensson is minus 130 over Nick Hardy. And for the record, they're at Spyglass today. Now, both of these courses played sort of similarly yesterday. I think they'll play from a scoring standpoint similarly today as well. But I do think Spyglass offers a little bit more trouble than Pebble does, particularly off the tee. And that's where I really like Adam Svensson. Adam Svensson's, basically like a dart thrower. He is a ball striker at his core. He hits greens in regulation. He hits the fairway. He's pretty good on approach and sometimes can be good with the putter. Now, Nick Hardy has been very good lately, particularly on approach. Like he has really revolutionized his ball striking game, but his short game really isn't there, hasn't been there lately. And honestly, off the tee, he can be a little wild. And on Spyglass, I do think that can be a problem for him. So give me Adam Svensson minus 130 over Nick Hardy. Next. Somebody said it in the chat. Hey, are we going back to Sam Burns? Don't forget, we have Sam Burns as a tournament matchup. He's 4 up right now. We can't take any victory laps yet. There's 3 days to play, but he's 4 up in that tournament matchup. And we took him in the round matchup yesterday, and he smoked Cam Young. I think he's going to do the same thing. I think Cam Young was very below average yesterday. Sam Burns was also below average until about the last 6 or 7 holes. He started to find his groove. And on Pebble Beach, where they are today, I think it's going to be smooth sailing for him. I think he'll be fine off the tee, and I think he'll throw darts on approach, and that's what I'm looking for. Let's look for Sam Burns to sail right past Cam Young yet again. Those are my 2 matchups. Now, Mike McClure, you have a matchup here, and I know you like this guy because you had a tournament matchup on this guy. I like this guy because I had him outright. Talk to me about your round 2 matchup.
Justin Thomas versus good friend Jordan Spieth, minus 110 on the Justin Thomas side. You're right, Sia. We both love Justin Thomas this week. I personally think he's back. When you look at the way he's playing right now, I think that he is much closer to the Justin Thomas of old than what we saw last season. I just love this fit for him. I know it's a decent fit for Jordan Spieth as well. Both these guys love playing here at this venue. But I think Justin Thomas is someone that benefits from playing with his friend like Jordan like this. He really gets to relax and have a lot of fun in those matchups. I think Jordan Spieth takes it a little more seriously, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing. But when you look at Justin Thomas and his skill set in general, it's really rewarded at this course. His 2 biggest strengths really going to be scrambling and iron play. He's one of the best iron players in the world. That's going to continue to show here. I was very encouraged with his opening round, not so much with Spieth, but everything with Justin was fantastic in the opening round, really carried over from what we've seen from him in the smaller sample size so far this season. I think he should be priced more like a top 3 to 4 golfer in the world, not in this 10 to 15 range where he kind of is in some of these matchups. So I'm going to continue to bet on Justin Thomas in a lot of different ways going forward the next few weeks. I think he definitely wins multiple events this season. I think he is, again, 100% back to form.
I'm in on the Justin Thomas train. And Mike McClure, just so you know, I've got him in one and done as well. So I'm hoping he continues to push the envelope toward a win. Al Jonas, you said you just hopped in. That's okay. Hit the like button if you haven't already, Al. But you missed my first matchup. It was, in fact, Svensson over Hardy. That's Adam Svensson minus 130 over Nick Hardy. And by the way, Mel is in the chat. Appears to have dropped a bunch of NHL All-Star Game bets, props, whatever you want to call these. And he went through the entire sort of list, fastest skater, shooting accuracy. Mel, I'm not sure I've seen you post any hockey plays before, but here's the thing. A, thank you. B, don't hesitate to be in this chat all the time, posting hockey plays. We absolutely love that. It wouldn't be the first time. So please, Mel, you have the floor when it comes to the chat. Go ahead. And that goes for everybody. If you guys have plays or girls have plays that you want to throw in there, we absolutely want to see them. You guys are a part of this sort of community as well. Speaking of communities, one community where you can place some of these bets, BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get $158 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $5 and you will receive $158 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome, with bonus code EDGE158. That's EDGE158. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to some UFC, NBA, college basketball. We haven't heard from Chip in about I don't know, 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes too long. But before we hear from anybody, we got to hear a word from our sponsors.
Caught by Kelsey for the touchdown. The 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. The champs are still in it, headed to Vegas.
We got UFC and soccer up next. Danny Brasco, you got 2 UFC plays for us. Deliver them and tell us when these fights are.
So we're looking at a Saturday night fight card. Fight card is going to kick off about 4 p.m. You're going to want to lock in right away because let's kick things off with a 2-pack of 2-leg parlays in the UFC, both for plus money. And the first fighter of the night that we're selecting in our first one is Thomas Peterson. He's the curtain jerker, first one on the card. And I'm going to combine Thomas Peterson with Molly Meatball McCann. Should be a fan favorite, fun one to back here. Peterson is fighting a guy named Jamal Pogues, who's a heavyweight, but fights with a very odd kind of point fighting style. He doesn't have that heavyweight power in him. And Peterson is a pressure grappler. How do you get the pressure grappler off you? You hit him with a big shot, right? You make him not want to come inside. I don't know if Pogues can do that. So give me Peterson to get his hands on Pogues and have his way with the grappling. I'm going to combine him with Molly Meatball McCann, who's coming off an upsetting loss in her last time out, but McCann loses to grapplers, and she got herself armbarred in the last one. Now she has an opponent who she actually beat 4 years ago, and sometimes when you beat someone once, you know you can beat him again. She's getting another boxer, and Molly McCann should win a boxing affair. So that's a plus 122 parlay to kick it off. And let's go into the second one. I'm going to combine 2 guys I'm pretty high on this card, Gilbert Urbina and Randy Rude Boy Brown. Urbina's taken on a guy in Charles Radke. Again, that's pretty much a pure grappler. Urbina looked dynamic in his last fight. He had a tough run in the UFC to start his career. He took a year and a half off, and he came back a man possessed. He put out a clip, man. He was going to the body, front kicks, low kicks. This guy could not stop the attack, and I think the same is likely to happen to Charles Radke, whose striking defense leaves a lot to be desired. I like Urbina by finish if you want to play a prop there as well. I'm going to combine him with Randy Brown, who's fighting a 39-year-old veteran kickboxer in Muslim Salikov, but I think it's the tail end of Salikov's career. Brown is just too dynamic, really good front kicks, really good snapping jab to keep distance, and very underrated grappling. So wherever the fight goes, I trust Brown. I'm going to combine those 2 guys for a plus 102 2-leg parlay, and there's a 2-pack of 2-leggers for UFC Fight Night this Saturday.
2-pack of 2-leggers. Gipper's pick says Sia. As if I make this call. You need Danny on more often. He is very knowledgeable in sports, in all sports, he says, and very entertaining. True and true. JB says, Sia, how you feeling about the Dan Quinn hiring? I won't answer you with words. I'll answer you with a facial expression. Here we are. There's my answer. And let's see. Jason Pogwist, he says he's got a 3-game parlay y'all can take a look at. I guess that's the EC Shadow account. Jason, love you putting in plays in the chat buckets. It's time for you. We got no Gatorade colors or flavors to talk about anymore. No Travis Kelce getting married, just pure, unadulterated soccer. You got 2 picks. Ready, set, go.
All right, see, before I get into the 2 picks, real quick, I want to give an update on Papa Buckets just because the chat has been asking about him. He did get discharged from the hospital. He is comfortably, as you can be, back home now recovering. So thank you again for everyone's support there with Papa Buckets. Now, weird segue. Let's get into the soccer picks. I will admit that I will be the first to admit that I know absolutely nothing about the country of Croatia. I know it is a country. I think it's in Europe. That's all I know. But what I do know about them is about their soccer clubs. Specifically, Lokomotiva Zagreb has been on absolute fire lately. They're hosting Varazdin at 11 a.m. this morning. So get this bet in quickly. We're taking Lokomotiva Zagreb over 1.5 team total at minus 120. Zagreb right now is on fire. They just beat Gorica 2-1. They beat Dinamo Zagreb 3-0. Kapfenberger 3-2, Astra 3-0, and Rudar Pavelia 4-0. This team is unstoppable. They're on fire, and they're one of those clubs that when they play at home, you just don't want to mess with them right now. Varazdin is leaking goals, and they do not have what it takes to beat Lokomotiva right now. Take that team total at minus 120 all day long. Then a team that's a little bit easier to pronounce here, hopefully. I'm going to France's Ligue 1 in a big matchup between Racing Strasbourg taking on, of course, the Titans of France, PSG. And I'm going with both teams to score here. Minus 125. PSG is a tremendous club. When they play at Parc des Princes at home, this is a team you do not want to mess with. But when PSG plays on the road, they're just not quite the same club anymore. Racing has scored in their last 9 matches straight, which included scoring against other Titans of France, and PSG is conceding at over 60% when traveling to away fixtures right now. Take both teams to score at minus 125, Sia, and I'm just telling everybody right now, I'm feeling like having a 2-0 day. That's all I'm saying.
Woo! Yeah!
Love it. And remind everybody, 3 o'clock today on this very SportsLine channel.
3 o'clock today on this very channel. It is the first time the Guru and I will be on a show together in over a year now, Sia. So you do not want to miss out on that. We'll be breaking down every single Champions League fixture coming up in the following weeks.
Two of the best. Somebody asked, Mark Buckholz, I love that. I love that. Mark Buckholz says, will the crew have an MLB futures show? We're going to have to discuss that because that's a great idea. I know a lot of people have been asking for AMAGs. When is AMAGs coming back? Well, you all know it's going to be soon with baseball season, but an MLB futures show, I'm sure that's on the docket. We'll update you on all of that. All right, we got to get to some NBA site picks, and we got to get to Chip's college basketball picks. Before we do that, one quick break from our partners.
The madness doesn't just happen.
Y'all get ready!
And although it's marked on our calendars each year, it's built by moments of mayhem before.
And the crowd goes crazy!
And it begins to bubble long before it bursts. Sure, madness and March may go hand in hand, but it starts right here.
All right, let's fly through some SportsLine site picks. Grizzlies plus 6.5, and the other one, Pacers plus 3. Sorry, Big Cheesy. That's going to be against your Sacramento Kings. We are not lighting the beam today. Pacers plus 3, Grizzlies plus 6.5. All right, Chip Patterson. We got NBA out of the way. We got soccer out of the way. We got UFC out of the way. Let's see. What else do we get out of the way? PGA, Gatorade colors. It's finally your time to talk some college hoops, and we are closer than you think to March Madness, to conference championships. All these games matter right now, and it's really, really fun, and it's about to get more fun. Let's have even more fun with Chip Patterson's take on college basketball games.
All right, 2 games for Friday night, and I will have games on SportsLine. Of course, make sure you sign up. Make sure you turn on notifications for Saturday's slate as well once those lines become available. We begin in the Big Ten, which has provided some really good Friday night action for us, and we are going to be going back. Get your lunch pail, get all your gear, because we're going back to the well, because Iowa home overs have been absolutely phenomenal this year. Iowa home overs, they are 8-3 on the season. Iowa is averaging 90.8 points per game at home. That's one of the highest totals in the entire country. They shoot better. They play at a fast pace, and they're going up against an Ohio State team that, in my opinion, has lost the plot. They missed the NCAA tournament last season. They really needed to get back this year, and you can kind of see it from the way the Buckeyes have trended, especially on the defensive side over the last 3 games. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I think the Hawkeyes fill it up. I think they do their part, and we do end up seeing this go over yet again. And then I was dialed into St. Bonaventure earlier this week on Tuesday night. They got down by 20 in a game they had to have against VCU. They come roaring back, emotional win. The Bonnies didn't have their best stuff, but they kind of stole one. Well, now, as I like to say, the bill is due. You're going up against Dayton. You're going to be in the Flyers' house. Dayton's the best team in the conference and one of the best three-point shooting teams in the entire country. You just feel like it's a letdown spot for a St. Bonaventure squad that really poured it out. I would not be surprised if Dayton ends up winning this game by double digits. So I will take Dayton, and I'll lay the 7.5.
Iowa, Ohio State over, and Dayton minus 7.5. Absolutely love it. Some questions about golf. By the way, if I miss some of your questions, message me on Twitter or tweet at me. I'll get to your questions. I always do, or at least I try to. Somebody asked Eric Cole over McCarthy. Don't love that one. McCarthy's actually pretty good on this course, has been historically, and his game is there. It was there yesterday for the most part. And then Morikawa over Finau, minus 125. I can't figure Finau out, and frankly, I don't know that I can figure Morikawa out. I do lean towards Morikawa, but I just don't love it enough. I saw that play. It's not something I wanted to make an official play. I do lean towards Morikawa. Mike, real quick, before we get out of here, on those two, particularly Morikawa over Finau, any thoughts one way or the other?
I think it's mostly fair at the 125 price point. I've seen that one as high as 140. So if you're finding 125 still at this point, I think it's okay to lean in the direction of Morikawa. I saw a question about JT versus Cantlay. I would say off of that one, that's kind of what I was talking about. I think that matchup is priced more appropriately. I think Cantlay's clearly in that upper echelon. I don't think that Spieth is technically there right now. So that's what I meant in terms of some of the price points. So I would stay off of the matchup with Cantlay.
All right. I absolutely love that analysis. Real quick before the recap screen. Oh, go ahead, Chip Patterson.
Yeah. So Mark says thoughts on Iowa team total over 81.5. I do love that because the way that I'm handicapping this game, I understand that I'm going to need Ohio State to do some work and be stronger than they have been. But Iowa's defense, I mean, they they're just sort of not interested in it sometimes, and they play at such a fast pace. They create a lot of possessions that I do feel comfortable going with the full game over. But if you want to dial it in specifically on what I like about this game, Ohio State's defense has fallen off a cliff. It looks like the season's already over. Chris Holtmann might be updating the resume as well, as he would be, looking to go restart the clock somewhere else. So if you want to just go Iowa team total over, I like that as well.
How about Iowa? What a dichotomy from their football team.
I know.
Just like the lack of defense. Buckets, dichotomy. It's like contrast. What a contrast. Contrast is like, what a difference.
No, I knew what dichotomy was. Thank you, Sia.
Fair enough. I always got to take a shot at buckets late in the game. By the way, real quick, Mel says, hey, those hockey picks I made, they were big swings. They were big plus money. Thanks for the clarification there. I love that you put those bets in there. Everybody just scroll up if you want to see any of what Mel put in there. I think I got to most of the questions, but we got to get out of here. We can't make this a 45-minute show. If you have other questions, tweet at us, message us. Somebody asked when this show is. I think they must be new to the show. Hopefully, you were smart enough to hit the like button. We like everybody to do that. If you're new to the show, that's a really important thing for us. But I will say this, for those of you that need clarification, every single morning at 10 a.m. is the early edge, but turn your notifications on because the SportsLine channel has all kinds of programming, including the early wedge Tuesday nights, Inside the Lines at 1 o'clock every day, special shows like those MLB futures shows that were referenced, some football shows. We've got a lot of programming, so turn those notifications on. All right, Buckets has got Strasburg, PSG, both teams to score. Lokomotiva over 1.5 team total. I've got Svensson over Nick Hardy today. These matchups start in about an hour and a half. Get those bets in. Sam Burns over Cam Young as well. Danny Brasco, Peterson plus McCann. And then Gilbert Urbina plus Randy Brown. Those are plus 122 and plus 102. Love the plus money there. Mike McClure back to JT over Jordan Spieth. Chip Patterson, Iowa. Ohio State over 156.5 and Dayton minus 7.5. And the SportsLine picks, we go to the National Basketball Alliance Association Grizzlies plus 6.5, Pacers plus 3. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show we just had. We packed a punch with some novelty props, some official picks, and a lot from the chat, which is what we love the most. On behalf of Danny Brasco with all the shadow boxing, on behalf of Buckets with the soccer, on behalf of Mike McClure, Chip Patterson, Jake the Snake on the ones, the twos, the threes, and the fours, my name is Sia Nejad, otherwise known as the Counselor. This is the Early Edge, and we rest our case.